boy E Tally back at it again on a Sunday fun day with a special guest who just finished the tournament here at the Alamo City Hoops event at Steele High School, coming all the way from Johnson High School. Go ahead, Coach, introduce yourself.
Hi, name is Damon Liverett from Johnson High School. Nice to be here on the show with you.
Hey, Coach, I really appreciate it, man. Again, I've been wanting to get you on for a while. Matter of fact, I tried to. I really wished I was doing a little bit more coach interviews last year, and I wanted to get you on. And when you first took over the Johnson High School program as the head coach, because you kind of got thrown in there, and it's like, oh, hey, tag, you're it. And I think you're one of the ones doing a phenomenal job of what you have in front of you, because again, you got a talented group, and you're doing your job. You're doing a great job, by the way. And I wanted to make sure I let you know that publicly. But I think you have a hard task with all that talent you got over there. And just, man, hey, good days and bad days, right?
All right. I mean, it's just like any other coaching job. Every job has its challenges. They're different in other places. So, the challenges here at Johnson are different than say over when I was at Floresville, and even when I was an assistant coach at Churchill. We have our own challenges and we have our own benefits. So, you just knowing which school you're at and what your challenges are and what you can roll with and everything else. So it's been
since we're talking about challenges and how you overcome them, let's jump right into that part. And let me ask you a question in reference to that. That's one of my questions I do ask a lot of coaches. What this year and last year, being you the new head coach, what were some of the challenges, and then how did you overcome them, and then put you in a better place? Can you talk about it a little bit?
sure. I think with last year, me being new, I mean, I was the assistant coach beforehand, but so the guys knew me, but new to them as their head coach. Just them getting their trust in me was a challenge, and them believing I can do the job and everything. And that takes time. It's not just right away. You're not given trust right away. Just like the kids have to earn trust with me, and vice versa. So that was a challenge, and I think once we got into district and we started winning some of those games and we started having that good run at the end, we started trusting each other and feeling more comfortable and confident with one another and what I was trying to do and what they were trying to do and everything else. The other challenges with a group as talented as mine is they've at most places they've played, they've been the man, they've been the guy, and they can't all be the guy now, and so they just have to find how to work together and find that role and everything. And that's the challenge that I'm dealing with right now, is just trying to get everybody on board on the same page and find that role. And it's different from one team to the next. So like when they play with their team in the summer versus here, they have a different role, and just getting them to understand that role and find that role for them if we haven't found it yet.
So with those things you're dealing with, how do you keep having success and you sustain that success moving forward? Because last year you were head coach, you made the playoffs. If I'm correct, the year before that you made the playoffs. And how are you maintaining and making sure that success continues with you guys? And then how are you getting them to buy into the whole program of the Johnson way, you might say?
Well, I think with I'm kind of blessed being in where I'm at because there's been playoff success before me, and so that's kind of a making the playoffs is an expectation, but even before I got there, so I'm just kind of riding on those coattails a little bit, saying like, hey, we don't, this is 11 years in a row. We can't be the team that doesn't do this and carry this on. But what I've challenged them with is like, it's great we're in the playoffs, but now we need to start winning games in the playoffs. The program's been around for, I guess we're on year 17, 18 right now. 17, I think it's year 17. And we've won 4 playoff games. So we're trying to take that next step and build on the success that they've had a lot of success in the regular season, but we need to build on that and take that next step and start winning in the playoffs as well. So as far as how we maintain that success, I've been using that tradition. We've been successful, so we need to continue that. And they have that mindset of that competitiveness that they want to win and they want to be recognized. I kind of play that too. Is like, hey, you win games, you get recognized, you get people talking about you, and they love that. So I use that too.
Okay, so that's their carrot. Okay, all right. So as far as your coaching philosophy, again, you mentioned that already. You were at Churchill, you were at Forestville, so you've been at multiple locations there. Johnson is not your first rodeo. Can you share some of your coaching philosophy and your strategies that you take into your day to day to make sure you bring out the best in all your players?
Sure. My philosophy, I don't really have a set thing I like to do. As far as like X's and O's, like this year we are running a brand new offense that we've never ran before. I've not run it in other places. But I think just playing hard and playing as hard as you can and caring for one another. I think that's basically my philosophy that I'm trying to get through, is that you can accomplish a lot just by your efforts. Um, there's tons of ways to win basketball games. There's tons of different offensive systems, defensive systems that are successful, and they all work. Because that's why you see them on YouTube. You see them at coaching clinics and everywhere else. Different ways to be successful, but I think none of that matters if you don't play hard. You don't buy into it. So my philosophy is you got to give forth some effort or not some effort, as much effort as you can, and buy into what you're doing.
So with that philosophy being that have them buy into the effort of play and play hard, what are some of the techniques and drills to help improve your IQ? Because again, you have a bunch of talented young men that, like you said already, they're the guy on some of their teams. So you're already dealing with a bunch of high IQ players.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you grab that and make sure that kind of goes forward with what you're looking for is, getting the wins, and if you lose, you kind of use that as a teaching tool to say, hey, we need to do this better, and just keep sharpening that iron over there.
It it's not a there's no we don't have really one way we do that. We try to make corrections when we see it. Like, hey, that was okay, but what if you would have done this instead? When we scrimmage, even when we play like some small sided games, like 3-on-3 and stuff like that, just seeing things and stopping and correcting and teaching. And even there's times when I'll just say, "What did you see?" and let them explain to me what they saw. And sometimes just that and me talking through it with them, they can kind of see what I was seeing, or they kind of see what was a better option there. And then there's those days that you just like, no, you're going to do what I need you to do, and otherwise we're going to get on the line and run. And you need to do that, and you just need to. So there's every now and then there's those forceful ways. But I tried to Coach Navarro now, he's my assistant. We tried to, especially with this new system we're learning, we tried to like, hey, was that the best shot we could have taken, or was that the best decision we could have taken, or do y'all all agree with that? And they'll say, well, and they'll start discussing a little bit, and that kind of helps too. Is just letting them kind of think through things and see things through our eyes as well. So,
okay. So we're talking about strength and conditioning. How important is strength and conditioning as far as making sure that you have a period, or you get it in before the week of the game or whatever? Because now you're playing basketball twice a week now. So how important is strength and conditioning for you guys?
very. And right now we're kind of taking a break from it because we're in tournament season, and it's just a lot of games, and we need to practice. Before the season started, we were lifting 4 times a week. And if you saw some of those teams we played, or some of the teams were in that tournament this weekend, like Shadow Creek, those dudes were big. Even the team we played, Bel Air, they had some strong guards that were just kind of, using their physicality. So it is important, but it's also a balance you got to have as well. Like when we're playing as many games as we're playing this month, it's kind of hard to get in the weight room, especially with our football team being as successful as it is. They're still in season, and so we have to find those times, and it'll get a little bit easier. I usually take a break from the weight room a little bit during tournament season because we have so many games and we have so many practices. We have very few practices, and having new guys come in as far as like tryouts and stuff like that, it's a little hard. But once November is over, our December is kind of slow until district starts. We'll be hitting that weight room back up again, and it'll be about twice a week just to maintain what we built in the off season. But I think during the season, it's more maintaining than it is building strength.
You mentioned the football team. How many football guys you got coming back as far as for you? Do you have any?
Not sure yet. So yeah, they'll kind of let me know when the season's over because usually
that is a long season.
When there's a tough football season, which I haven't really experienced at Johnson yet, those basketball guys like, I can't wait to be out there with you, coach. I can't wait to get out there with basketball. When they're having a good season, you don't really hear. They're like, oh, they're having fun over there. So we'll find out when the football season's over and how many guys want to come out and see, and we'll see. So
okay. So for you guys got several feeder schools that feed into you, into Johnson High School. So with that being said, how do you describe your approach to showing those younger guys the culture and how you foster that environment to let everybody know the Johnson way?
We're
Jaguar
still,
way, excuse me.
Yeah, we're still creating that Johnson way, Jaguar way. Last year was tough. I was kind of running the program by myself until football got done, and then my two assistants came over, and so I wasn't able to go down and see the middle school. But it was my first year, so this year I've already gone down to visit Tejeda, to one of our feeder schools, and watched their tryouts, and actually participated in some of their drills and talked to some of the kids there. I plan on going down once we get our freshman coach back from football. I plan on going to visit Tex Hill, our other feeder school, and going to practices with them and just kind of being there and being seen. And then we start showing them some things when they come to camp in the summer. We have a week-long camp, and we kind of show them a few things, and then the incoming freshmen, we'll pull them aside during the camp at some point, and we start running stuff like to get them prepared. Just kind of show them some drills, show them some offense, show them some defensive stuff that we do, and just kind of get them ready to go. And as far as what I tell the coaches down there, I just tell them I need them competing, learning how to play man defense. I think man is basis for any defense you want to run. I think the concepts there you can run man pretty well. I think you can teach them any defense. The concepts are pretty similar. But yeah, that's the plan going with the feeder schools, just being seen more than anything. And then we'll invite them out to games and stuff like that. We try to get, when they play each other, try to get them to play at Johnson. But I think this year there might be a conflict. I think we might have games going on at that same day that they're scheduled to play. So I don't know if I'm able to talk to the people above me and see if we can switch that game to a different date, but it maybe not be able to do that. So that's some of the things I plan on doing in the future.
Well, I've noticed you use the summer league and fall league as one of your ways of implementing the Jaguar culture in reference to just making sure as many kids play as you can. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to that, how do you? I'm not gonna say make cuts, but how do you identify which kids you really like? Are you during because it's before tryouts. You guys just have them all in that class.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are doing all that fall league, and you have like 3 or 4 teams. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
Right.
you have multiple teams out there trying. So how do you start? What catches your eye in a kid towards though? What are you looking for to help you just make sure that you kind of just start navigating to that kid that you think is part of, you want to be part of your program?
Um, Looking for kids that can play the game. Obviously, that know what they're doing. They're not scared. They're not gun shy out there. Next, looking for kids that can run what we're doing and not just go out there and try to do everything by themselves. I know in the summer, some of the teams, and I'm not saying all of them, I know some of them, that's their way of playing is once the ball comes in their hands, they try to have to score with it because the ball may not come back to them. I know when it comes to those college camps they get invited to, that once they pass the ball, that the ball ain't coming back, and they've got to, if they're trying to impress those coaches there, they got to do something. And so I'm trying to get them to understand that that's not how it works at high school ball. We you can share the ball, and that's how teams win, is by sharing the ball. Most of those teams that make it far, they might have a super stud that scores 20 something points a game, but most of them they're pretty balanced. They, like, I know even Brennan, I don't think, I know Kingston can probably put up 30 a night, but he doesn't normally do that because they're better when they're playing together, and they're tougher when there's all five guys involved. So um, he'll put up 13, 14 sometimes, and they're still winning by a lot. And I'm trying to get them to understand that and use that. So that's the kind of things I look for when I'm watching them play. And even stuff, if we're trying to teach them something brand new, like this year, our offensive system, it was, that stuff that we took back once we're watching them on the weekend. We're like, all right, we need to work on this, this, and this. Or like, ooh, we haven't hit up that in a while. We need to do some rebounding drills. Or our defensive rotation isn't rotating, so we need to work on some of those. So that's what I use with fall league, is kind of using that to help work on things we need to work on. And then some of the kids were unsure about, just kind of seeing what they do within that system.
I noticed you dealt with a little adversity last year, i.e., you making the playoffs as far as your playing game. That one game, I think it was last year when you guys played Reagan, and Richard hit that last minute shot on you. So you've dealt with it. Can you give me an example of some adversity that you guys just overcame and let the audience know, like, yes, you dealt with it, but you guys are one of the resilient teams out here in San Antonio. That's, again, it's okay. We dealt with it, but at the same time, we still invite it because we're going to win every time and overcome it.
I think just about every district game last year was adverse. We had some kind of adversity. It was tough. I don't know how many overtimes we played. It was a bunch. The first game against Churchill was a double overtime game, I think. So we just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and we got the win. And then we played Clark, another overtime game, and we ended up coming short on that one. The Reagan games were lost by one to that shot, and then we lost by 5 the other time. And I just kept telling them, reminding them, like, hey, we're in these games, fellas. We clean up this, and this. We're winning that game. Or, we won that game, but if we would have done this, and this, we would have gone to overtime, and we need to watch out for this. And or I'll praise them, like, hey, y'all were down by this much, and y'all, look what y'all did. The Roosevelt game at Roosevelt was one. We were down double digits going into the fourth, and we came storming back and got a shot at the buzzer to win the game, and we ended up winning it. Another one was the second Churchill game. We were down 16 with about 4:30. I remember this because we watched the film the whole last 4.5 minutes, I stopped the game and I said, all right, look at the score, look how much time is left, and look what we're doing. And we started, working on a press that we haven't really worked on at that time, and our rotations weren't great, but just the effort and how hard we played. We in that 4.5 minute span, we put up 30 points, and which is unbelievable. And I said, guys, this is what you're capable of. This is what you can do. And I had to, I mean, I can tell them that, but I had to show them that. And they saw it first. I mean, they witnessed that they were there, but I don't think they realized how many points they put up in a short amount of time. Right. And they saw it on video. And that kind of just opened their eyes. They're like, okay, they had some confidence already, but that really gave them some more confidence. And
right.
So I kind of, if I can, I try to show them some things that they overcame and did, or things that they came close to overcoming, and those a couple of tweaks here and there they could have done differently and made that a better scenario for them.
So with knowing a lot of teams that you guys play, because I think you guys have a really tough schedule as far as you guys make sure you play some smoke. You don't run from it. You don't sit there. And I know there's 6A schools that you can play that you're way, way better than you can play on purpose, but you don't. You play the Steels, the Jetsons on purpose, and guys outside of your district. How do you plan or scout those teams and make sure not only are you prepared, your players are prepared too?
Well, hopefully, our only tool we have really is, besides me going to a game and watching, which I'm not always able to do because we'll be playing at the same time, is coaches sharing film with me and being able to watch those and find some things that we can exploit, or find some things that we can beat them at, or whatever. It's hard during this time of year because people are playing so many games so fast. Like even during this tournament, trying to get film on TMI, I sent out requests to 3 teams, and 1 team was able to send something back. So it was kind of a quick turnaround. And when we get into districts, a little easier because we can, and we've also know some of those teams, and we'll see them twice. So we'll get those film, but that's I have to rely on other coaches, or I have to go watch myself to get that, to kind of know what they're doing. Some of the games we have coming up, like for this weekend, I still haven't got any film yet, so we might just be figuring out as we go, kind of like we did this past weekend. Those some teams like Bel Air, I'd seen them except for like a few highlights here and there, and highlights don't really show you. They just show you the good stuff. They don't show you any of the bad, the stuff that they struggle at.
Right.
So you just kind of walk in it, but it's a tournament. That's a learning thing that we need. It gets a little bit easier to scout once district hits, because we will get film on all those district teams, and we will get multiple films.
Right.
All kinds of things, and so we have some pretty good scouting reports, and the guys know each other. Besides Brandeis and Clark, the other teams, they've been playing since junior high, so they know the guys. They know a lot of the stuff they do. They know strengths and weaknesses of individual players sometimes better than I do. Sometimes I rely on them. Like they'll play with other guys on other teams, and they like, hey, this guy, he can't do this. He can only do this, and
right.
I think, like even with TMI, there's some guys that knew some of the TMI guys, and he goes, he can't do this, but he can do this. He's really good at that, but he can't do this. And so sometimes I'm like, all right, you go guard him. You go stop. You know what he does. You go get him. And so that I'll do that sometimes too.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, Coach. And again, I appreciate this time. But my last question is a family question I like to always ask. And honestly, like you guys are so selfless. How do you juggle all this? You're a teacher, you're a coach, you have a family, and you got to have your own time, I'm sure. But how do you juggle all 4 of those things to just balance yourself, to make sure that you're there and you're giving these kids the best you can give them?
It's different. year in and year out. My kids are 7, 4, and 4 right now. So what they need is different from year to year because they are changing rapidly. And what they needed, 3 years ago is much different what they need now. What they needed 3 years ago was me feeding them and putting them to sleep and changing diapers. And now what they need is me teaching them how to ride a bike and tie their shoes. And in a few years, what they're going to need me to do is going to be much different, teach them how to drive and stuff like that. So there's no, I don't have a way. I just try to do it the best I can and have some family support. My wife's a coach. She's the volleyball coach at O'Connor now. She was at MacArthur last year, but now she took over the O'Connor job. And so she's in the coaching world and understands it. My dad was a teacher for a little bit. He did other things first, but he got into teaching after I got into teaching. So he understands that. And my brother-in-law is in the education. He was a teacher and a principal, and now he works for the central office at East Central ISD. So it's a family. Families help out too. So we are a family of educators, and my other family members that don't teach, they've been around us and they understand how the struggles we have, and they chip in and help out. But it's different from, like I said, different from year to year. We just, my wife and I try to figure it out as we're going and try to make those adjustments. So there's no secret way, because if I had it, I would tell you and share that with everybody. But I don't think there's a way. It's just different from family to family.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you have a great support system. And again, I really appreciate you for all the support and all the stuff you give to Johnson and all the kids there. And again, I just want to make sure I let you guys know how important that stuff is, because you're raising the next generation. And they really, maybe they don't say thank you, but I want to say thank you and how important you are to what you're doing. So, well, look, Coach, I'm gonna wrap it up. The last thing I always ask is we do two things. You do a rapid fire, and we always ask everybody to give us a fun fact. So give everyone a fun fact about yourself that no one knows about, really.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really have any secrets. And
what do you like to do? You like fishing? You're a fisherman?
Not really. I'm more of a movie person. I like movies.
Okay.
I like watching movies.
All right. What's the last? Give me the last movie you just went to go see. It was really good. It had to be a good
as
one.
Far as theater, I haven't been to a theater in a while.
Well, no,
streaming service. I just finished watching. Was it Wolverine and Deadpool?
And what's your thoughts on that? Since you're a movie guy, what you give it out of 5?
I thought it was pretty funny.
Okay.
I liked it. It was good. It's something I can't watch around the kids, but
no, sir. No,
yeah.
are we? Is it 4 out of 5 or is it 5 out of 5?
I'd say about 4 out of 5.
Okay, that one was a good movie. I just watched it also last night with the family, and yeah, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Well, look, Coach, I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire. So I'm an undercover foodie, and I like to eat. So I like to ask food questions. So I'm gonna ask you a few food questions, and we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. All right. So pizza or calzone?
Pizza.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, not Burger King.
In-N-Out or Whataburger?
Whataburger.
Going to a 2-part wing question. Hot wings versus every other flavor.
Ooh, garlic parmesan's my favorite.
Okay, all right. Every other flavor. And then wings or flats?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Wings or flats?
Wings.
Okay, and we're gonna wrap it up, Coach. Oh no, I got one more. Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waffles.
Nothing wrong with that.
I get pancakes a lot. Waffles kind of like a treat to me.
That's why. Okay, yeah, they are. Well, hey, Coach, again, thank you for just giving me this time to spend with you and letting the audience and everybody in San Antonio know a little bit more about you. And we're gonna try to get this to air tomorrow, sometime after 6 on Monday. So tomorrow after 6. Okay. And hey, man, just look out for it. And again, thank you again, and thanks for allowing me to come in the gym and cheer for you guys and Just keep doing what we're doing. Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Have a good one.
You too. See you around.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.